And a follow-up question to that, to your opening statement is, as relating to the City Planning Commission, you recently expressed that the council needs to establish whether an appointee has to be a city resident or can just own a business within the city. Do you believe that all city appointees to the city's planning commission should be required to be city residents, and why?
I think that they should. I think when you live in the place that you represent, you tend to have more invested in it, so to speak. So I think that's the way it started off before, that you had to be a resident of the city. But what we find is finding people who want to run, who want to get on these committees, and who want to take an active part in bettering their their cities. So I kind of lean toward the side that I think you should be a representative of the city that you live in.
Okay. And Councilwoman Bowles, you've served over Ward 3 since 2003. What are some major challenges that your ward currently faces, and how are you currently working to solve those challenges?
Well, one of the main challenges that I've encountered has been what Ms. Potlow just mentioned about dilapidated homes, or homes that have been abandoned, property that has been abandoned. We have quite a few properties in the city and houses that have just been left and abandoned. It's hard to find the property owners. We do our best to contact them, but this has been one of the major problems, because it's just like if you live in a neighborhood and you live beside a property that has been abandoned, it depreciates your property as well. Mm-hmm. So I have a lot of my constituents who call and say that they have these properties as far as even meals, but we are in the process of we do receive funding to demolish those houses that can't be refurbished. We do get so much money that we can go in and demolition those homes, those properties. I think in the past year, we did maybe, especially on the west side, we did about 15 to 20 homes that have been left and abandoned, but they're all over the city of Greenwood. And right now we have funding to do about 12, I think it's 10 to 12, maybe 15 more that will be coming down. And then what happened is this property that has been abandoned, a lot of times the city, we encounter these properties, they become ownership of the city. And what we do is we allow habitat to habitat these properties to build homes.
Now, one final question of either of the council persons to answer before opening the floor. Please keep in mind all Zoom participants can post your questions in the chat box to be asked. All participants on Facebook Live can post your questions in the comments and I'll ask them. Councilwoman Bowles or Councilwoman Partlow, do you think an increase in the accessibility of public transportation in Greenwood would benefit the city as relating to poverty and crime?
Yes, I think it would. It's just a matter of funding the transportation that is needed. It's been talked about and discussed many times from different groups or different concerned citizens about how we can get city transportation within our city, and that how much it is needed. There are some services that are in Greenwood, but I think they're basically for medical needs only. They're not just for basic needs, like just going grocery shopping or just being able to take care of your needs. But I don't think we had city transportation since it's probably 35 years ago. They had it at one time. It was provided by, I think, Mr. Bowles, my husband. But yeah, I think it would be very much needed if we can find funding for it, because everyone doesn't drive.
Councilwoman Partlow, you can answer that question if you would like.
Well, I definitely think we need transportation within the city. Again, being the newbie on the block, and Councilwoman Bowles just mentioned about the funding for, and I don't mean to backtrack, for dilapidated houses. I just want to make another point on that, if I may. We're not just talking about abandoned houses. We're also talking about houses that the landlords have been collecting rent for years and have done nothing on the upkeep end of the property. So we need to find a way to start holding landlords accountable without the tenants receiving any backlash. And yes, as far as transportation, as Councilwoman Bowles said, not everyone drives. So we need to have some type of affordable transportation in the city of Greenwood. It's we're not that far off from the size of Greenville. And it's just a shame that we don't have inner city transportation here.
Okay, and one final question. Nonprofits, including Lander University, the United Way, and churches are expanding within the realms of the city. Of course, the city cannot collect taxes off of the nonprofits, which is a loss in revenue. So how does the council, plan to make up for this loss of revenue?
That's a good question. But, unfortunately, this has been the trend always. I mean, you may as well also include the hospital as a nonprofit that doesn't pay taxes. That's just the way the state has set it up. That we have no jurisdiction over trying to change that. We have requested that we made an arrangement that the nonprofits, not include Lander University, but some of the other nonprofits, at one time was paying the city a percentage that was agreed upon, but Lander was not included. But that it doesn't make up for the losses. It just kind of it helps the situation.
All right, thank you.
From the other nonprofits. But I think it's a total of maybe 7. And please don't quote me because I'm trying to do this from memory. But I know that Lander is considered, but Lander was not in the negotiation to pay any type of. It's not a service fee and it's not a stipend, but it's just an agreement that was made to try and make up for some of the losses, especially from the hospital and other medical facilities.
All right. Thank you, Councilwoman Bowles and Councilwoman Partlow, for participating in our town hall.